All right, here's a little review on percent problems, especially in what is considered the is of format. If you any problem that has percents in it, if you kind of work with it and put either what you know or what you want to know into a sentence or a question, it's going to end up with the words is and of in there if it's kind of boiled down. So here I have a problem. It says 34% of 920 is what number? I'm going to show you two different ways to work that problem, one of which is just drop down the words into the math symbols that they mean. So when I write that into math, 34%, I want you to remember that 34%, anytime you see it with a percent sign behind it, that's not the real number, that's a selfie of a number. It's been cleaned up, it's been made pretty, it's gone to a common denominator of 100. So I would write that by moving the decimal two places and making it 0.34. Of means multiply in math, so I drop it down as an of, 920. Is means equals, and what number I don't know, so I write it as a variable. And I have it written into an algebraic equation. In this case, the variable's by itself already, so all I have to do is take that 0.34 times 920 and get my answer of 312.8. That's the answer for that one. You can get that pretty quickly, and this is the most general format is you know the percent that you want, and you know the whole number, that's the of number. So the other way to do it is with a proportion, which is the way I prefer because it works for all of them easily. The format we'll be using is over of equals percent over 100, and that's the way it always is. Is lets you know that you're dealing with the part. The of is the whole, the entire thing, and then of course we're converting it to a percent. So when we get that, any answer over here, we'll need to put the percent sign behind it. So if I fill this in, let me fill that in. Always have the 100 in it. 34%, it's the percent, obviously. Now the of 920, that's your of, and sometimes people get confused because it's sandwiched between the two words of. Well, this of is preposition, and that 920 is the object of that preposition. Of always goes right before the whole number. Is connected to the what number, and so the is the what number that we don't know. You're ready to multiply the diagonals, divide by the other one, and you've got your answer still of 312.8. Here's another problem. This time I know the is, and I know the of. So I'm going to go ahead and start this one as a proportion. 19 is what percent of 28? So I'd of course be ready to multiply and then divide, and then I need to realize that I'm solving for the percent, so I have to then put a percent sign behind my answer. Well, when I do that work, I get 0.6785, ugly decimal, so I'm going to round it to the nearest tenth of a percent, which would be 67.9%. Of course, if I dropped it down into an algebraic equation, it would look like this. 19 is means equals what percent of 28? We'd solve that by, of course, dividing by 28. That cancels out. And when I take 19 divided by 28, I get that 0.6785 ugly decimal. And so when I round it, I have to go back here, move the decimal two places. That changes it to 67.85, which then would round to 67.9%. One thing that you need to understand is that when you do it with the proportion, the decimal's already been moved for you because you've done the divide by 100 or the multiply by 100. If you do it with an algebraic equation, you're going to then maybe have to change the decimal if you're doing the percent one. All right, last example. This time I know the is, and I know the percent, and I'm looking for the whole number. So once again, I could write that out as 55 is. When I have a percent, I need to move it into a real number, so I move the decimal two times. And you could write that as a fraction also, so you could write 24 over 100, write it in fraction form or decimal form, just not in the selfie form, that percent. Of means times, and what number we don't know, so we will, of course, have to solve that algebraically. I'm going to go ahead and set it up as a proportion as well. 55 is, that's the part, 24% of what number? Now I'm ready to multiply the diagonals and divide by the other one, and it comes out to 229.16 repeating, and that is your answer.